What's up everybody, welcome back to another video. We're going to be doing some work on the lozza again. This video will be about the lozza, laurel, whatever you want to call it. I've done a couple of things that I never filmed as per usual because I just like to come out and tudu and forget about filming. I'll show you what I've done for the meantime though. Bit of progress update, something like that, you know. I made this airbox thing for it. It's basically just a piece of 3mm alley folded into this shape, and then I folded the edges over too so it could bolt this top panel to it. Cut out this top panel. Needed a bit of a fold in the top panel, as you can see, just to like follow the shape of the car, but turned out not too bad. The bottom down here is folded as well, so it can bolt. You can bolt this straight to the inner guard there. But yeah, it turned out pretty good. I just put some this stuff. What do you want? Edge trim, ruries, just to stop it rubbing and to kind of seal it. It's not gonna matter too much. The bro was just worried a bit, not worried, but it just better than sucking like hot air from that sort of corner when the car's not moving. You know what I mean? Because the radiated heat from the manifold obviously gets this area warm. So to save it sucking like direct heat, hopefully it's going to pull in a little bit less cold air just while it's sitting there idling and shit, you know. Better for it, in theory. We've just done, I don't know why I keep saying we've just done, I've just done. It's not like I'm a fucking entity or a company or anything, but I've got some breather hoses for it to made up, just some push lock ones. And I've got a piece of foam finally under the breather lid for the tank too, so that turned out pretty good. I didn't want to do like crazy fucking expensive breather lines for this, so I just went push lock because it's you know, the most, still pretty expensive, but the most affordable. You don't really need like PTFE for the top, you know, looks clean enough like that without the fucking bullshit. So yeah, that's about it I think for now. Oh no, I actually mounted these fans too. I mounted these fans. These are like off a Falcon. So I've just put some, I just bent up some alley, some angle iron, not angle iron, I bent up some 3mm alley as a 90 and just welded it to the side of the tanks here. Put some rib nuts in the ends here and just put some holes in the side. They come out pretty good, nice and mounted now. So should work a treat. So it's come along pretty good. What am I doing now? Can't remember. I started making a swirl pot the other day for it. So I've got this so far. I got some dome caps just to make it look tidier, so then the weld's like that and not like on a hard edge and then it bubbles over and looks shit. What have I got here to show you? I don't know, you probably know what I mean. Anyway, like this thing that I made, like when you weld right at the edge, the weld like sticks up and protrudes and looks gross. I reckon it looks gross. And then I try to grind that down and it looks like shit. That's for an old power steering thing I was trying to make, but yeah. So we'll go with these. Apparently this is a stronger way to make shit too. This is how I'm like, I wouldn't say like gas bottles and stuff and formed, but because I've formed. But yeah, things for strength anyway. It's apparently made like this, so that's gonna be like yay-ish there. It'll have a pipe out the bottom that'll just go directly to the top tank, top port of the radiator, and then I'm gonna have, what I'm gonna do in this video is we're gonna mill up a little snout thing that bolts there, so then I can weld a piece of what have I got? I got this pipe here, so it'll just come out there. I'm gonna have to pie cut this because you can't get like tight radius. Well, I can't find tight radius bends of alley that's like a nice thick wall as well, so I'm gonna just go pie cut this. I'll go put it in the bandsaw. We can go make a whole bunch of pie cuts and we'll just come straight out of here up and then into the tank, if you know what I mean. You'll know what I mean once I finish anyway. Into the top. I don't know the actually correct way to do the swirl pop, but I did, the other way that I thought was to have it like that, and then it goes straight in and then come out the top there, but I don't like the idea of the water coming in through the bottom and swirling up and then going into here, because if there's anything, like if there's a problem, I feel like the water is gonna, like, I don't know, have an issue getting out the top. So I figured if we go to the top, then the water's always falling down into the radiator instead of trying to push up into it. I feel like gravity's gonna help it do its thing easier, so it's like how it naturally wants to do it. So we're gonna go with that. We'll just have a couple ports, probably one bleed port actually at the top, and it will just go to a tank, like an overflow tank with a radiator cap on it over here. So it'll bleed off all the air into a breather tank, and then there'll be a drain on the bottom of the tank that goes down yonder. There's a port in the radiator down here. I've got like a I've got a dash 10 fitting here to screw into it. So I'll just have a dash 10 line that drains the radiator overflow like back into the bottom of the radiator where the water pump will be like sucking from. So we shouldn't have any issues with like bleeding. It should just self bleed. So you should just be able to fill it up and fucking run it for a bit, and it'll just self bleed and always be self bleed. There's a couple of ports on the head too, one there, one at the back. We'll just make some dash like 3 lines or something, run them to the expansion tank as well. So we're bleeding all the high spots as good as possible, back of the head especially. And yeah, hopefully that fucking is kosher as fuck. Yeah, so I'm gonna set my mill up and cut out that fucking snout. We'll start on that, go pike up these at work. Oh, while I'm at work actually too, I'm gonna brace the K-frame. What K-frame? Brace the where the front arms pick up from, the frame there. They have a tendency to like try bend under like drifting, I suppose, because there's so much load and twist on them. So we're just gonna brace there to there with some bar, but I'm gonna make it pretty. I've cut these up already. That's gonna be the back one, and then that one will be like that. And I'll get some panel steel in there. We'll put some dimple dies on it, and it should look nice. So I'll go do that at work as well, because we've got dies at work and the bandsaws there. So should be pretty progressive video, I think. What else have I got to do? Oh, the alternator bracket. We've mounted the alternator like this with, again, fuck, I've welded. So now I'm fucking stumbling. Jesus, cunt. Since this doesn't have a power steering reservoir, we've got the electric power steering pump, the extra pump here. Gonna, this alternator bottom pickup, this is the bottom pickup normally, flip it around, and it bolts up to where the power steering like bracket bolts to, and it's like runs true with the crank still. So that's nice and easy there. We're gonna bolt that there. It just needs a bracket that's going to pick up on the 2 bolts here, the bolt holes. We've got one there and one there. It's going to make like an L bracket that goes down there, and then picks up on the bottom. But, well, I say L bracket, it looks like an L, but it's going to be nice and curved and shaped. So I'm going to have to, I've got a little cardboard template cut out that sort of fit, and I'm going to go, I'll draw that up in CAD as well, and we'll mill that out of some like 16 mil alley plate. Here, sorry. I've sort of cut out the shape already just so the mill doesn't have a hard time fucking shaping it. But yeah, it'll basically go like, you know, like that in there, and the bottom will pick up the bottom of the alternator. And then what we're going to do is put a threaded hole somewhere there, and we'll run like a timing belt tensioner, one of those like an eccentric one, like the offset center hole. So you put it in, and then you'll wind it round to tension it, and that should hold the belt nicely. I didn't want to make the slotted hole where you like tension it with a bar and do it up. It didn't, you know, I hate that idea, because they fucking wear the thread out and then it can end up jumping and slipping. At least with a fucking bolt that's off center or like an actual tensioner, you can actually wind it in tight and it'll just stay there. So yeah, good progress. Well, there will be good progress during this video, so I'll get started and stop boring you with my fucking speaking. Alright, I'll come down to work. I'm gonna cut out the template for the in between the brace there. So all I've done is put the pipe like that. Like that's how it's gonna be in the K-frame. So I just need to cut out panel steel twice like that, some holes, dimple, good to go. I'm just going to cut this with the plasma because it's way easier with the plasma cutter. I'll just use a bit of a straight edge to get those lines nice and straight, and then I might just use this as a guide. I might sit it like that, that way you can run the torch like along the edge of it and get that cut. So we'll see how it works out. I'll show you how quick this plasma cuts through panel steel. Just wrecks it. Fucking so much easier than a grinder. 2 cutouts. I'll drill some holes in there now and get the dies and stamp them. I think we'll go something like that. My very accurate holes. About that size anyway. I have to find some dies that actually work. Got a 20mm one here, which will probably be nice for the centres, and the outside one's probably the next size up, like 25mm. So yeah, I will get some bloody hole saws and cut some holes, and we will be done with it. Shit, how was that for a transition? Hopefully. Sweet, got these holes sawed out. I will go stamp them now. I'll show you what the deal is, in case any one of you watching doesn't know how those fancy dimple die things are made. 20mm and the 32mm. Go to the press. Pretty simple concept. You've got one die here which has got a taper and a little hole for the other end to go into. The other end's just the exact opposite. It's got the taper that way and the male fitting like that. So basically you set your steel over there, you put your die through your hole you've made, you crank down on it like so, and take it apart. You got your nice dimple for strength. I'll do the rest of them and sit it all together and see how it looks. And you'll be amazed at how much strength this adds. Like, these aren't just for show to look pretty, they're actually good for strength. Like, much twisters in that piece compared to the piece that doesn't have it. Like, it adds quite a bit of rigidity to the steel, which is the main reason for it. Alright guys, here's the finished-ish product. I've tacked it together just for illustrative purposes, because obviously I'll have to weld the bars in first and then stitch the bracing on afterwards, because you won't get the torch in there with these welded on, like, out of the car. So yeah, that's how it's going to look in the car anyway. Turned out pretty cool. Feels pretty strong too, just tacked together, so should work out mint. I'll probably make another set of these for my car now that it's turned out pretty sick, so make another one for my car, and yeah, for whenever that's ready. Oh yeah, the other thing I'm going to do at work is cut this alley pipe out, pie cut it, so I can get those sharp turns for that overflow. My GoPro's going to die like in 2 seconds though, so I will do that and we'll catch up when I'm back at home. So that's how she's going to look in there. Pretty good. The top looks pretty track. Gives it that race car vibe. Might have to trim a bit there. The steel protrudes a little bit, so it stops the steel from the pipe actually contacting, but trim it up, get it to fit nicely. Alright, so just going to have to trim this up a little bit to get it to fit the right angles, yada yada, and it should be good to go. Then I will tack it in place and probably pull the both caster arm brackets out, weld it on the bench sort of thing. For the meantime though, I am doing the swirl pot. Remember yesterday I cut out some, what do you call it? Pie cuts. I've got some tacked together here for a nice tight bend, so it can pretty much go with my hole, pretty much go into the side of it like that, so it'll be like nice and tight there, and then it will be another one down into the head. I'm just currently cutting out the flange that I've designed for this to go onto. So that's the flange mostly coming together there. That will be welded onto the end there, just so the bolts get quite a tight fit. It's just so the bolts don't interfere with the welding if it was on a flat plate, so made that instead. So that should bolt to the head right there, and then that will be welded to that piece I'm making and come straight up and then straight into the swirl pot like that, and then another fitting obviously out there, and that should be mostly done. Right guys, here's the finished part. Come out pretty not bad for something I built in the shed. So yeah, that's gonna, well, I haven't actually test fitted this yet, so hopefully, yeah, mint, she'll bolt up like that. Awesome. I will get that tacked to some pipe and get the swirl pot mounted. So I'm having a fucking mare of a time trying to weld these pie cuts together. Looks like shit and I'm not really impressed with it. You get it real close together and it's fucking terrible and it gets too much heat into it. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to go with a donut instead. I'll buy a donut, like 1.25 inch donut, and we'll make the bends out of a donut instead of a fucking, because I can't find any bends and doing it with a pie cut seems to be quite tricky for me. So yeah, I'll get a donut and make it out of that instead. Alright, so I've changed my bloody mind. I was thinking about it before, if I have the tank sitting here, you know, in line with the top radiator tank as the bottom sort of thing, the tank is going to be quite high, like the swirl pot's going to sit quite high, and if I've got an overflow to sit over here, but I was worried that the swirl pot would actually sit higher than the overflow, which would kind of defeat the purpose of the air getting bled over to the expansion tank, because the air's meant to, the expansion tank's meant to be the highest point so the air can go up to there and then escape out the fucking cap if needed or not. So I was worried that if we had the tank swirl pot too high, that the air, and this was sitting like this level, that the air would get stuck in the top of the swirl pot and maybe create an airlock. So I've just gone with my original idea of like this. Alright, this is how it looks bolted up. I don't know if you can see that very well at the moment. There's a light overhead, but pretty sweet. I gave it a quick polish. My flange worked very well. Bolts don't interfere with the weld or anything. It was sweet. Just needs a another port here to here. I don't know, I'm undecided yet whether or not we do an AN there just to make it look, you know, race car-y, or if we just have a hose. The only problem with being straight as well is the motor's going to torque and lift the hose a little bit, so have to kind of, I might cut this off here, have it straight, so then we can have the hose sort of come out and curve into it, so it's got a little bit of like extra length to it, so that when it twists up it's got some sort of room to move, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'll think about that when I go to bed tonight or something like that, I'd say. But yeah, might be it for tonight actually. Go do some thinking and come back out with a fresh mind tomorrow, I think. Yeah, we'll have a go tomorrow. Alright team, we're back out in the next day. I've had some time to think overnight about what I want to do. So I'm going to knock out the radiator expansion tank. Right, we've got this sort of dummied up as a expansion tank here. I've sort of folded rough shape. It's a bit of a cunt going to work, coming back to fit it, going to work to use the folders. So I folded the edges. I wanted to fold the top edges as much as possible so you don't see much weld, but the shape of it's a bit odd. So what's my dog doing? The shape of it's a bit odd, so it was hard to like cut that piece out as a sheet metal piece and then fold it into place. I didn't think it was going to turn out too well, so I've just done the most of it. This piece here will go like that. I'm not too bothered about the welds being at the bottom because you're not going to see too much of it. So there, and then since it's not that wide, I've tried to shape it as best as possible to fit this and in there, and then we'll duck it like, or add some more material in that way to tuck it under the guard as much as possible, just to get some like extra capacity out of it. So hopefully it all works out nicely. Right, this is how I got the tank made. It's not fully made obviously, I've just tacked it together. But that's how it's going to kind of work. Sit there somehow. I had to massage a few things once it's all fit together to get it sitting in there square and stuff, but this is basically what I've come up with here. It's got a baffle in there, so the coolant sits in there, and when it sloshes it's going to have a harder time getting up in the upper cavity sort of thing. So, and I've just extended the little wing on the side there just to sit in the hole here. I don't know if you can see the hole. So just to give it that little bit extra of capacity. So I think that corner is just getting it caught up in there because it's rounded. So to do something like that, so it sits in there nice and follows that factory line up there, and then it sort of comes off the corner of the airbox here as a line too, just so it looks aesthetically pleasing, I suppose. But yeah, be like that. Cap there somewhere. Make another tank over there. It should. We've got the other piece, so once it's finished up, it'll just be a container like that. Yeah, should be pretty good. Just got to welding it up, mate. Some bad welds tonight. Nice beads, minus the ends. This is all hidden anyway, but went alright. Even the cap. Bit of a polish up, get rid of that white oxidized shit. Man. Alright, I'm up to welding the last cap on to fully seal this up. I've welded all the rest of it. Just done a final check inside to make sure there was no yuck bits or filings and stuff, so she's all clean now. So this here will go right there. Weld her on. I've got it cut, so you've got a well, this is how I always try to do aluminium, like anything with an edge, is try to have the like the 90-degree, like, what would you call it, like the fillet in there, the chamfer, whatever you want to call that, just so when the wire goes in, you know, you're laying the bead in there, instead of if it was like corner to corner like that or something, then when the wire goes on, it like leaves a hump and it looks gross. It looks a lot more cleaner when you've got like a little channel to fill up with the wire. So yeah, I'll get this all fucking welded up and we'll get some tabs made to mount it in there. Oh, just a pro tip. Here we go. Any length of aluminium or any steel, but mostly aluminium. Any semi-long lengths that you're doing, it's always good. Well, I always found it's better to put a tack every so often, because you'll find that if you try to check the corners and you try to run this weld, the aluminium fucking heats up quite easily and it bows real bad. So you'd find that this here in the middle would start to like bow away from the other steel and you'd have a big gap. So it's also all good. So it's a good idea to like have a decent amount of tacks in there to hold it all steady. So I'll put another one like here as well, because if I run that there, that's just going to bow away. It keeps it all square. Alright, I got my tabs welded on. Just got one there to brace it there, and just one at the back there. I've got some holes. My drill went flat, so just charging that up. I'll put some riv nuts in there so we can mount that there. Then next, it just needs, I'll just hack a hole right in this corner here and put a -10 male fitting there, welder male fitting there, and then we can run a hose to the radiator from there, drain back into the radiator. So pretty much buggered on the tank now until I get some parts sorted for it, now that I know what I need. Hose wise, I'll go look at hose first actually. I don't want to go welding. I've got a pipe that I can weld on there. I don't want to go welding something on there and then have to cut it off because it's not right. So I'll wait till I get some parts for the rest of the cooling system. Alright, I've had a brain melt in exercise trying to record different bits and bobs the last couple of minutes that I've forgotten everything that I have fucking mentioned and what I was up to. So sort of tangenting off. But yeah, I believe I'm gonna have to wait now for some. I'm gonna have to go order some bits for the rest of the cooling system, so I'll go get onto that. So we're gonna end it there for the cooling system wise. I've got this turbo drain that I've been making, so I might just include this in the last of the video before we end it. Nothing too exciting, it's just a bit of stainless 19mm pipe. The it's bigger than the drain hole at the bottom of the turbo. I thought it was too small looking, because I thought mine was bigger on my car, but the drain hole out of the bottom of the turbo is actually smaller than this hole here, so it being slightly bigger is probably better. So can't remember what people usually run for these, like -12 drains maybe, or -10. Anyway, I think the idea of this pipe's going to be sufficient anyway. It is a restricted turbo, so it's not going to have a hell of a lot of oil feeding into it anyway, so the drain back isn't going to be fucking gushing like Niagara Falls out of there. So this pipe should be plenty big. But yeah, it's just gonna, I've made this little flange here, it's cut out of the grinder. I don't know how the mill's going to go with cutting stainless, so I haven't tried it yet. I don't know if I haven't cut it stainless, so I don't really want to cut a flange out when I can just cut it out quickly with a grinder. Pretty decent. But yeah, we're just going to have that pretty much under there. It's 45ing away from the manifold, so it'll come like out of this spot here, something like that. And then I have another 45 on it that aims down into the sump, because the sump drain hole's roughly there, I think, on a JZ. So yeah, I'll make it to about there, weld a -10, I think I got -10 fitting onto the end of the pipe, and then we'll just run a short AN line into the sump. Probably have to get the sump. Oh no, I probably don't have to. We can make it later once it's all car's all done. Well, not all done, but once the motor's actually got a proper motor in it, I can just make a little flange up to suit where this ends. So I'll just make it till the I'll just make it till here for now, and we'll worry about it later. So yeah, I might just whip one of these up real quick. I don't know if it's going to be too exciting or too much to explain about it. It's just some pipe welded together, so I'll weld one up real quick and bolt it on and then show you what it looks like at the end. Dag. Alright, this is what I've got for the turbo drain. It's the AN10 fitting, or 12 on the bottom there. I think it's a 12 actually. Same size ID as the pipe, so it must be a -12 here. So yeah, that'll be that. It'll Is it warm? I just tacked it on there. Might be a bit warm for me to touch, but yeah, it'll just sit up into there like, here's the hole roughly, so it'll be like that, kind of, wherever the, when it bolts up flat, I'll bolt it up flat, and make sure the angles are all correct, maybe tweak it here or there, and then fully weld it, bolt it up. So yeah, there'll be that, nice and easy. Nice and heat resistant, so it won't melt. Alright, I got that turbo drain welded up. Here it is here. I've just got it bolted in with one bolt at the moment. It's not fully bolted up or anything yet. I don't know whether or not I want to sort of change the end, because this is that angle that we got down here. Kind of want a little bit more of a kick so we get straight down, because aiming towards the front a bit. So I might need another bend just to kick it that way a little bit, probably another 45 just to kick it straight down. At least we can get away with like a 45 AN fitting down into it. Depends where the thing sits. I can't, I'm going to have to go measure mine to see where that actually sits, because I can't remember if it sits back here, or where are we looking? I can't remember if it sits back here further, or if it's more further forward. If it's further forward here, it won't be so bad, because then we can just go straight into it like that. But if it's back here further, it might be a bit too much of a kink, so I have to change this angle depending. So yeah, I'll have to get a I'll go look at my car, unless the bro's got the sump that we can sort of measure up, see where that kind of fits, so I can decide whether or not I want to change the end. I haven't welded the fitting, I've only tacked the fitting on. The rest of it's welded, because the rest of it's sweet and it clears the exhaust and shit, so at least it's not going to melt, which is good. So yeah, I got my big plate turned up today to machine the top half of the water pump. So I've undecided whether or not I want to carry out the exercise today or not, because the cutting time was a long time, and I don't know if I want to be sitting here. I don't have to watch it, because it'll just do it all by itself, but I like to be present just in case something goes wrong. So I don't know if I have the patience today to just hang around and sort of monitor that for the time being, so we'll see. But yeah, probably that's going to be it for this video, eh? I'd say got some quite good progress on this in this one little video. What did we get done? This tank, the swirl pot, that bottom brace, I showed you the alternator bracket, I think, maybe, I don't know. I meant to draw that up, so yeah. I'm going to call it there for now. You guys will see another video anyway, so I'll do another video on it anyway next week or whatever. So yeah, we'll catch up then. Hope you enjoyed watching and seeing the progress. Anyone that's new that isn't my mate that watches me, hopefully, I don't know, giving you some ideas maybe. You know, sometimes you get stuck when you're doing your own builds and you're like, fuck, what do I do here? And then it's just as easy as watching someone else's build or what someone else has done. Because that's all I do as well. I see other people's ideas everywhere. Instagram, fucking YouTube. I'm like, fuck, that's a good idea. So hopefully it's a little bit of inspiration for if you're doing it at home as well. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Hit the like. Sub too if you're not subbed. A lot of people aren't subbed. You just watch my videos and fuck off. You're dogs, man. Dog act. Why don't you like me? But yeah, we'll catch you next time, eh? Peace out.